We're going to continue where we left off. We started a new book, a new parasha, the book of Shemot and Parashat Shemot. We started explaining how the sons of Yaakov, they went down to Egypt. And before that, we took a little detour to explain a verse that can be found in the book of Daniel, chapter 12, verse 3, where it's talking about that the ones who are educated in the secret mysticism of the Torah, who are called maskilim, they are going to shine like a Zohar, a great shine in the firmament. And the ones who are, the verse is matzdikei harabim, but really what it means is mezakei harabim, a person who goes and teaches other people and inspires them and gets them closer to the Torah. This is called zikui harabim. These individuals are going to shine like stars for eternity. It says that the stars, they shine brighter than the firmament. So the ones who are learned and educated in the mystical part of the Torah, the Zohar, the Kabbalah, they'll shine for eternity like the firmament. But the ones who are helping and assisting other people to get closer to the Torah, matzdikei harabim, will shine for eternity like the stars. And then we went into explaining a little bit that this firmament that we are referring to, from the world of Atzilut, from the sphere of Chokhmah of Atzilut, comes down a shine. It's explained here as coming down as a river coming out of Chokhmah. But the river, it's referring to this Hamshacha, to this energy, this light that comes down into the sphere of Bina, where we mentioned that the sphere of Bina is the source of all the creations in the world above, where we talked about a shine going down to these 7 planets. Yesterday somebody asked me after that about the planets. The 7 planets that it's referring to are Neptune, Saturn, Jupiter, Pluto, Mercury, Venus, and Uranus. This is the 7 planets that it's referring to, which are rooted in the sphere of Bina, and these are the roots of the 7 sfirot of Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, and Malchut. But nevertheless, I was talking about that the 7 planets, when I mentioned also the moon and the sun, this is referring to the mazal, what is called in Hebrew it's called mazal. In English you translate mazal as luck. But here it's talking about the mazalot. Then above the 12 mazalot, above the 12 constellations, rather the 12 signs, the horoscope, these are the 7 planets that control the 12 mazalot. Yesterday we were also talking about the 12 mazalot, the signs, that these are also rooted in the sphere of Bina. In addition to that, then you have the sun and the moon, that these are called Zachar v'Nekeva, the female and the male, that are positioned all in the sphere of Tiferet. Yesterday I mentioned another term, the Gvulei Alachson, the sideways borders of the sphere of Tiferet. This is we're going to talk about it a little bit later, but this is really what it means. We'll talk about it later when we get there, but yesterday I just mentioned that, so I want to more reiterate about that. But nevertheless, we continue talking about, quoting a verse from the book of Daniel, where it's talking about that there's a tree, referring to the tree of life, that is positioned in the world of, in the sphere of Bina, and this tree has great branches, and the branches are making great shade to the ones who are enjoying the shade out from it. And in the branches are also positioned the birds of the heavens. And we went through this more in details, but we were explaining that the tree, which is referring to the tree of life, is sitting in the sphere of Bina, and it's creating shade for the souls of the tzaddikim that are positioned underneath that. And we mentioned that the tzaddikim, they are in the shape, in the dukan, in the image of how they look in the world below. Now, these tzaddikim, these souls are also referred to as besamim, as fragrances or good smells, because their good actions, their good deeds are like a good smell in the in the nose of Hashem. He enjoys their beautiful actions. And then also we were talking about more tzaddikim, but in a more of a lower level. These are the ones who were able to get into Gan Eden, but they're not as great as the great righteous souls. Rather, their actions were good, but not always with the right kavanah, with the right intention. And but nevertheless, they still made it into Gan Eden. And of course, there are also we called it the field animals, but this is referring to the angels that are called the holy animals, Chayot HaKodesh. And the tzaddikim that are in the low level, these are the ones that we refer to as the birds, the heavenly birds. And we all explained that all must have vessels and garments in order to dwell in Gan Eden. In order for any soul to be in Gan Eden, it has to have a vessel, that the vessel will be built from the Torah and the mitzvot. And the souls, they need a garment, like we need a garment to be dressed in this world. And the souls will also be dressed in garments, that these are the mitzvot that they do. And each one will be positioned in a certain place, in the height, so to say, or the hierarchy of the tree, based on their actions in this world. So at the end of the day, when we're all going to meet in Gan Eden, I don't know how many of us will actually meet there, but nevertheless, the ones who are lucky and will meet in Gan Eden, then they're going to be positioned in Gan Eden, in heaven, depending on their actions in this world. Nothing that you do in this world will be unpaid, so to say. And the souls are positioned in heaven based on their action in this world. And that's where the souls will actually see who was the real deal and who wasn't. In this world, it's very easy to be deceived. You know, in this world, you look at a suit and a beard and you think this is a holy individual. So a suit costs $100 and a beard takes a year to grow. It doesn't mean anything. And the yarmulke is about $2. That's what it is. Kadosh Baruch Hu doesn't get impressed by beards and suits. And at the time when we're going to get to Gan Eden, then the ones in this world that don't look so holy will actually be in the very high realms. And the ones who are, not necessarily as holy will be found much lower. That will be the time when the truth will be revealed, exactly the level of each person. Nevertheless, that the more love and intention and excitement goes into the mitzvah, that means that the power of the mitzvah is much, much greater, than the position where the soul will be positioned is much, much higher. But nevertheless, in the tree of life that is positioned in the Sphira of Bina, that's where all the souls will end up. I mean, the ones who deserve it. Some souls will not deserve it. And I know many people think that they can do whatever they want and they get a free pass to go into Gan Eden, but it doesn't work like that. Nevertheless, many souls, even though they'll end up in Gan Eden, they still have to go through a process of a cleansing process that can be done in Gehenom, in hell. Hell has many different levels there. Some of them are not so bad. I mean, it's a little bit hot and stinky there, but nevertheless, it washes off all the dirt. And then once the soul is cleansed, then it's able to go back into Gan Eden. So here it's talking about the hierarchy and the position of this structure. Of course, it's said in a metaphorical way, in the form of the tree of life. But to put it in simple words, what it's talking about, that the tree of life is the Sphira of Bina, where the souls are dwelling there. And the souls of the tzaddikim are in a much higher place. The souls that are less tzaddikim, less righteous, are in a lower place. Nevertheless, the angels are there too, in a lower place than the souls. And depending on my actions in this world, that's how it's going to be positioned in the world above. But why is it saying all this? This is just a preparation for us to understand what it means that the sons of Yaakov went down to Mitzrayim. So we continue. We're in the same page, page 2, side A. And it says here, and again, they continues the mamar and saying, Zohar iba de ilana, the light of the fruit of the tree. Usually trees, they have fruit. Here up to now, we're just talking about the tree. We're not talking about fruit so far. But nevertheless, this tree of life also has fruit. So the light of the fruit of this tree, that its root is in the Zohar Harakia, the light of the firmament, that is shining over the tree. Yahiv chayin lechola. This fruit that it's referring to, it gives life to all the souls. Same way in this world, we have to get some type of sustenance. We have food, we have air. But what do the souls do in Gan Eden? What do you think? They're just sitting there and they have steaks and sushi. They have to have some type of sustenance. So they're all nourished from the tree of life, but there is a fruit there. And this fruit is the one who gives life to all the souls. Ki yumei le'alam ule'olmei almin. The existence of this fruit in the tree of life is eternal. Why? Because it's grown on the tree of life. Now, good news of this tree of life is Sitra Achra lo sharia be. The Sitra Achra, the other side of holiness, cannot dwell in the tree of life. Ela Sitra de Kedusha. Only the side of Kedusha, of holiness, can dwell there. So this is good news. Here, there's a lot of Sitra Achra, a lot of opposing powers to Kedusha, but in the world above, where the tree of life is, then only Sitra de Kedusha, only holiness is there. Zaka chulakehon innun ta'amin mineh. Happy are the ones, or lucky are the ones, or you don't even know how lucky are the ones, of these righteous souls that they can taste a little bit from this fruit. Now, how do you taste a little bit from this fruit? By learning the secrets of the Torah. If you learn just Torah, plain, good, that will give you food. We know that the food of the souls in the heavens is Torah, what they learned in this world. And the garments of the soul in Gan Eden is what the mitzvot that they did in this world. So if you want to make sure you have a lot of food in the world above, you have to learn a lot of Torah. The more Torah you learn in this world, the more food, spiritual food, you get in the world above. And same thing with the garments. In this world, you can buy a t-shirt in Target for $2 and whatever, pants for $3 or trousers for the UK crowd. But then again, you can buy also beautiful suits, Armani suits for $3,000. You choose what type of clothes you want to wear. Same thing in the world above. You can have cheap garments or small garments, and then you have expensive garments in the world above. And as we know, in this world, garments represents status and wealth, and everybody wants to be dressed nice. Same thing in the world above. But the ones who want to taste from this specific fruit, from the tree of life, then they have to learn from the secrets of the Torah. Inun kaimin le'alam ulolmei almin. And once they do that, then they exist for eternity. The ones who are learning from the secrets of the Torah, they can exist forever and ever. Ilen, ikrun, maskilin, v'zakan. Now these souls are going to be called maskilim, educated in the secrets of the Torah. And not only that, zakan, it means a righteous soul. Chayin behai alma v'chayin be'alma de'ate. The ones who are involved in learning from the secrets of the Torah, they live in this world, and they also live in the world above, in the world to come. And on these souls it says, Hamaskilim yazhiru kezohar harakia. The educated ones, that are learned in the teachings of the Torah, specifically the teachings of Zohar and Kabbalah, they're going to shine like the firmament that is spread over the, over the sky, over the position of Gan Eden. Now, when we're talking about a firmament, we're kind of picturing the firmament, the sky in this world. But we do know that above Gan Eden, there's a rakia, a firmament stretch from one side to the other. And the souls that are sitting in Gan Eden, they just look at that firmament and they're experiencing unbelievable pleasure. Not normal pleasure that is, so to say, leaking this wisdom of Hashem into the souls, and they're experiencing unbelievable pleasure. Now, when it's talking about these souls that they live in this world and the world above, these souls that are educated in the secrets of the Torah, yazhiru beziv hachokhma elyona, they're going to shine, they're going to enlighten and shine from the supreme or the superior, the wisdom of Hashem, and exactly like the firmament in the sphere of Bina that is called rakia, firmament. לפי שהם זוכים ליטום מפרי האילן הגן, המקבל הערה מזוהר הרקיע. How is that? Because they receive the ability, or they have the ability to taste from this fruit that is on the tree. tree of life that is positioned in the garden, Gan Eden, and it's receiving this energy from the firmament coming from the world above. Saying, in other words, that we're not talking about necessarily that a person just sits and learns. You have to live your life according to what the Torah says. You can't just, some people they have excuse. They'll go to once a week to a Kabbalah class, a fake Kabbalah class, and then they think that that's it. I'm VIP in Gan Eden. So that's the mistake of many people in our generation, that they associate themselves with different groups or places. They teach them fake Kabbalah, they title it as Kabbalah. It's not Kabbalah, it's not nothing. It's just theories. And they totally say the Torah, we don't need the Torah. Just learn the mystical part of the Torah. But Torah, you don't have to follow the Torah. And this is fake. This is feeding lies to people, and thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people fall for that, and they believe that. And I met thousands of people, they tell me, I learned Kabbalah. And they don't even care about what, if they eat kosher, or if they observe Shabbat, or if they do any mitzvot, but they learn Kabbalah. So I'm a Kabbalist. So I hear that a lot in many different places. Recently I was in Los Angeles, I met many Kabbalists. And but tefillin they don't put. And eating kosher they don't care, but they are a Kabbalist. This is fake Kabbalah, this is nothing, this is not real Kabbalah. No, we're also not learning Kabbalah, by the way. We are scraping the bottom of it. But nevertheless, a person who lives the life of the Torah and simultaneously also learns the mystical part of the Torah has the merit to taste from this fruit of the tree of life that will nourish the soul in unbelievable greatness of wisdom and pleasure in the world to come for eternity. Now, he wants to explain, we're doing this preparation, by the way, to understand what does it mean that the house of Jacob went down to Egypt. So we have to make a little intro, a little preparation. So he wants to explain what does it mean where it says Zohar Ilana Da, the light that goes out of this tree. I mean, this is all metaphorical. This is not a tree planted in Gan Eden. It's just called a tree because a tree has different qualities. But nevertheless, we're constantly going to use the word tree, and it's constantly referring to the tree of life because there's also the tree of knowledge and there are other types of trees in the world above. But it's when it says that the tree has a shine, it's almost like lehavdil elef avdalot. Now also many people have trees and it shines, but this shines with fake lights. This is not what I'm talking about. People should not get confused. I do believe that many people do get confused. Now I was in America, I saw many trees that shine, but it's not the tree I'm referring to. So chas v'shalom, one should not go down the wrong path. But the same way that sometimes you will have something that enlightens a lot and it shines. And I don't know if you notice, but when something shines, it attracts a lot of attention. So if it's a fancy car, it shines also, attracts attention. Or a beautiful diamond ring, or whatever shines, usually will attract a lot of curious eyes. What is this that is shining there? So the tree of life also shines. This shine is called Zohar. Zohar is a shine. So it says Zohar Ilanada, this shine that goes out of this tree, and this tree, it's referring to the Zeir Anpin. The Zeir Anpin is the name of the Partzuf of the Sfirot, Chesed Gvura Tiferet Netzach Hod Yesod. So it's saying the shine here is the Yesod, the foundation. Now what is this Yesod? This is the Sfira of Yesod. It says Zakpa Le'ela Le'ela. The Sfira of Yesod, it's erect, it goes up, it's constantly get pulled up, and it goes higher and higher and higher. First of all, it reaches to the Sfira of Tiferet. After that, it will continue reaching up and it will go to the Sfira of Da'at. That this is the root of the 5 Chasadim. We know that there are 5 types of Chasadim, and it's rooted in the Sfira of Da'at. Chamesh Me'a Parsei Hiluche. It's referring to 500 of Parsei. Parsei is a measurement. Hiluche is the length, the distance that it goes to. Now, when the Sfira of Yesod, so to say, has an elevation, goes up to Tiferet and then to Da'at, it reaches to the root where the Chasadim, where the kindness, the Chesed is positioned, And then the Yesod comes down, and it goes down with these 5 chasadim that it pulled down from the Sfira of Da'at. תכף I'm going to explain everything. Then, as הילוכו והתפשטותו 500 parasot. That's when it goes down. It says that the distance that it goes is 500 parsaot. Parsa is a measurement. Parsa is 4 kilometers. In this world, this is a measurement that is used in biblical terms. Here it's talking about a spiritual measurement. But nevertheless, what are these 500 parsaot? This is the secret of the 5 sfirot. There are 5 sfirot: Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod. We're not talking about Yesod right now, because the Yesod is the one who goes and gets these 5 chasadim. But these 5 parsaot, 500 parsaot, why is this called 500? Because each and every one of the sfirot that I just mentioned, Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, are included in 100 levels. So we imagine the 10 sfirot, only 10 sfirot, but just imagine it's much more than 10 sfirot. It's saying here that each sfira is included from 100 levels. Vehem nikrot parsot. Why is each one of the level is called parsa? Why? לפי שכל בחינם הם פריסת אור וחלק מהספירה. Why is it called parsa? Because the word in Hebrew parsa comes from the word lifros, is to spread out over. Sometimes you can take, just to have an analogy, you take, I don't know, peanut butter or whatever, you scoop it out, so just saying peanut butter, and you put it on your sandwich, and then you start spreading it around. So from a little scoop, suddenly you can spread it on a very large area. Here it's using the word parsa because it takes certain light coming down from the world above, and it starts smearing it and spreading it, and that's part of the sfira. Now, the sfira in English is called emanation, but if you remember, we taught many times that the word sfira doesn't come from counting, rather coming from the word in Hebrew sapir. Sapir is something that shines. It's not sapphire. I know it sounds like the word in Hebrew sapphire, but this is not sapphire. Rather, it's a quality of shining. That's why the 10 sfirot are called 10 sfirot. 10 emanations. The word emanation is not really doing justice. Rather, the sfira means sapir, something that enlightens. Now he continues, it says, Shitin ribo ihu bepshute. These chasadim that they spread around in the 5 lines of the Zeir Anpin. Shekol echad yesh bo 10 ribo. Each and every one of them has 10,000 segments or parts. Shesach hakol, all together, how much will you have? 60 ribo. 60 ribo. Ribo is 10,000. So 60 makes it 600,000. So this is where we get the number 600,000, all coming down from 6 sfirot and all the calculation that he gives here. So just to say it again, the sfira of Yesod goes up to that, pulls from it 5 chasadim, into Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet, and Netzach and Hod. Each one of them is included in 100, so that's already 500, and they're called the 500 parsot. And in each and every one of them, there's 10,000 asara ribot, 10,000s. So that would be 100,000. 100,000 times 6 sfirot, you get 600,000. This is where we get the number 600,000. Shehem shishim rubo, this 600,000 are all included in the sfira that is called Yesod. At the time when it's ready to give a shefa, a shine into the sfira of Malchut, shines in its 600,000, so to say, compartments or departments or segments. Behai Ilana, all this is depending on this tree of life that is called Zeir Anpin. Kai Machad Zohara, the Zohar, the shine. There's only one shine that is called Malchut. And why? Because it's receiving this energy and the life force from the Zeir Anpin. So it's kind of explaining to us quickly, where do we get the number 600,000? I'm sure you're familiar with the number 600,000, because we know that when they left Egypt, there were 600,000 souls. And we also know that we are, as the nation, of the Jews, we originate from 600,000 souls. So now he's giving a quick explanation of how we got to the 600,000. And eventually, before it's ready to be given down to the sphere of Malchut, then it's all gathered in the sphere that is called Yesod. Now we're going to continue a little bit. Later on will be much more clear what we're saying here. Now he explains what he's saying. Zohar dechol gavnin kaimin be. This light that we're referring to, and it's referring to the foundation of the light, it has many, many, many shades. Kol hagvanim shem sod hanagat hachesed v'gvura kayamim v'nechlelim bo. You know how many shades are in the world above? Just imagine how many shades are in the world below, and that will give you an idea how many shades are in the world above. We know that we have a few types of colors, but then shades you know how many types of shades you have just for the color blue? Infinite. Same thing in the world above. Inun gavnin, these shades, it means that there are many types of ways how the world above can relate to many situations. Meaning that in the world above there are endless and infinite combinations of a godly revelation that will eventually manifest into the world below. Salkin, they all go up to the world above, to the Zir and Pin, where that's where their roots. Ve'nachatin, and they go down into the Malchut, legalot et shinui hanagot. Have you ever thought, how come there's so many details in the world below? How come we're saying Hashem Echad, that Hashem is the only one? You know how many details are in the world below? How many animals are in the world below, in this world? Infinite. Not infinite, but it's a lot. How many leaves are in this world? How many flies are in the world? How many mosquitoes? Just in this room you have like 100 mosquitoes. Just imagine how many mosquitoes you have outside. So when you're looking at the world, what do you see? Trillions and trillions and trillions of details. And even if you just look at one species, how many fish are in the world? Gazillions of fish in the world. How many flies? How many ants? How many spiders? How many leaves? How many flowers? How many pebbles of flowers? You're talking here about endless amount of details in this world. But then again, we're saying God is one. Hashem Echad u'Shmo Echad. Everything is one thing. So the reason I'm saying that is because when you look in this world and you see so many details, that's a manifestation of how many details are in the world above when it comes to the light filtering through the Sfirot. This is not a class right now to explain the Sfirot, but we have one light shining from the infinite light of Hashem, but when it goes and it penetrates into the spiritual world, it gets separated into infinite amount of details. This infinite amount of details will be filtered, so to say, through all the Sfirot, and eventually they will go through like a strainer and separate into infinite amount of details. Once they all hit the sphere of Malchut, the Malchut has the ability to transform these spiritual details into physical details. So how do we get so many details in the world below? Because they exist in the world above in infinite quantities. I don't know if you even can say infinite quantities. It's infinite. So the Malchut has the ability to transform it, so to say, from infinite details in the spiritual world into infinite details in the world below. Therefore we get in this world endless amount of details. This is kind of saying it in simple words that we can understand what he's saying here. But it says here, "Velo mityashvei beduchta achara bar behu ilana." All these details that we're talking here, they're not dwelling in a different place. You know where all these details are dwelling? In the tree of life. And the tree of life is positioned, or it's called Zeir Anpin. Shesham shoresh hanagot hatachtonim, the root of everything that goes on in the world below is positioned in the world above, in the tree of life. Which means that if you see in this world, and I'm just giving a number, 100 billion birds, then it means that in the world above, there are roots for each bird is in the world above in the tree of life. and you see in this world 100 million, 100 billion zebras, there means there are 100 billion details that the root of the zebras in the world above sitting in the tree of life. And I'm saying now birds and zebras, anything you want, anything that you see in this world, and you'll multiply it according to what you find in this world, meaning that each thing has a root in the world above. Every bird, every insect, every leaf, every pebble, every banana, you take it to wherever you want. Every detail in the world below has a root, where it's connected in the world above. All these details are in the tree of life, which just imagine how much details are in the tree of life, and everything that we find in this world, doesn't matter. He's using the word shades. This is a more Kabbalistic term to when there's a chiluk, when there's a separation. Because really, how many shades of blue you have in this world? Infinite. Really, you can't count it. You can make now infinite amount of shades of blue. Dark blue, light blue, violet blue, whatever it is. Where is this chiluk, this separation comes from? Because it's rooted in the world above. That's what he's trying to say in other words. Later on we're going to see why he's preparing us to that, because we do know that we are originating from 600,000 souls. So, so how can we be that we're millions of souls? Just imagine in our generation. Let's say in our generation we're 15, 20, 30 million. What about the generation before? What about the generation before? So where all these souls are coming from? So this is there's a root for that in the world above, and there's a reason why they separate in the world below, because they're separated in the world above. So going back again to what he's saying, Lo mityashvi beduchta achar bar de'ahu b'teilana. All these details, they're not positioned anywhere but in the tree of life in the world above. Ka de nafke mine. All these details that we see in this world below, that are rooted in the world above, where they're coming from? They're coming from the Sfira of Yesod. Leitchaza bego Zohar de la Nahara, to be revealed and to be seen in this light that shines so powerful in the Malchut. So it just comes to explain to us how many details in this one beam of light that's coming out from the Kadosh Baruch Hu, that we refer to as the infinite light, Or Ein Sof. Just imagine how many details are in this beam of light. And in order for it to come down, to manifest into the world, it's all positioned in a sphera called Yesod. That's the foundation, which the Yesod will give this shine into the world of Malchut. And Malchut will transform it, so to say, into this world. And he says, Mityashvan sham, they dwell there in the Malchut. And all these details that are sometimes so, no, it says the word that he uses, the coat, like thin, v'nelamot, so thin and so you can't even see. How many, just look at it, don't go for things that we see with our eyes. Can you imagine how many atoms are in the world? If everything is built from an atom, then how many atoms are there? How many, these, how do you call, I don't know the words in English, how do you say chelkik? Like a what? No, not portion, not molecules. We'll use molecules for the sake of articles.
Subatomic particles.
Particles. Just imagine how many details of things that we don't see with our eyes. How many chalkik is, let's say we'll call it how do you say a particle? Particles of air. How many, O or H are in the world above? I mean, in this world. And we don't even see it. So it's saying here, even these details that exist in this world, and we don't even see. So all these details are all dwelling in the world above, in the sphere of Yesod, and they go down into the sphere of Malchut. Even though one can say that you don't really see all these actions in this world. Kaiman, but they exist. Vela Kaiman. Some of them exist and you see them. Some of them exist and you don't see them. But all of them exist in the power of the Yesod that shines in them. So again, we're talking here about almost in anything that we're going to mention now, we're talking about infinite, if not billions and trillions of details. All the roots of that is all dwelling in the sphere of Yesod. Begin דלה מתיישבן באתר האחרה, since they cannot dwell anywhere else. ואם נייחס שום פעולה למלכות לבדה בלי כוח היסוד, if we're going to say that it's all coming from the sphere of malchut, but it's not attached to the sphere of Yesod, because a lot of people can come and say, this is not coming from God, God didn't create that, this is coming from some big explosion or from some other evolution. Then it comes and says, no, all the power that we see for everything that exists in this world has to originate from, before it comes to the sphere of Malchut, it has to originate in the sphere of Yesod. And it says here, the power of Yesod, הוא פירוד ומיד יכולים החיצונים לנק משם, ולא מתייחסות אל כל הנהגות אל המלכות בהיותם נקשרת עם היסוד. It says something interesting, that if it would not be connected to the sphere of Yesod, once it will be dwelling in the sphere of Malchut, anything coming out from the side, other side of holiness can attach into it and feed off it, and this is something that we don't want to happen. Now he's just going to conclude what he's saying here so we can move on. He says, Me'ila nada, from this tree, nafkei treisar shivtin de mitchaman be. From this tree that it's referring to, comes out 12 souls that are the souls of the 12 tribes. That their position, shetchumam umakom shorsham, that their root, where they come from, is in the 12 borders, sideway borders in the world of Tiferet, in the sphere of Tiferet. Now, before I mention that, I said I'll explain it a little bit now. First of all, for anyone who wants to get much more information about these 12 borders, then you can go to the book called Etz Chaim, Shar in Gate 5, and you can find much more information on that. But basically, what it's talking about, that when all the midot are in the world above, they're separated from each other. Chesed is on one side, Gvura is on the other side, Tiferet and so forth. When they all merge together, they create a shape that has 12 sides to it. So that won't be a cube has 6 sides, right? So what would be called a shape that has 12 sides? Okay. We don't have a name right now, but nevertheless, when you have a cube, it has 6 sides, right? And then you have a shape, how? Dodecagon. So, but nevertheless, this is a shape that has 12 sides. This is not exactly what it's referring to, but it's explained in depth in this book Etz Chaim, the Tree of Life, that when all the midot are included one inside the other, they create 12 borders, 12 sides. It's using the word border, but it's really a side. But that's only when all the midot are included together. This is where it's coming from. But it's talking about that in this tree, from the tree come out 12 souls, that their root is in the hitkalut, in the connection of all the 12 of the midot together. Ve'inu nenachatu behai Zohar de la nahara lego galuta de Mitzrayim bechama misharyan ilain. These 12 souls, of course we're familiar with the 12 tribes, we just read about them, but these 12 souls, they go down with the shine. There's a shine that goes through all the worlds. What is, so to say, the backbone, it's not really a backbone, but the vertebrae, or the spiritual vertebrae, that's my terms, it's not something, a source to that. But when you're trying to imagine the sfirot, what's connecting the sfirot is the shine that goes through the sfirot. Like you have in the vertebrae, what's connecting the vertebrae? You have the spinal cord. So, and again, these are my analogies, it's not reading out of a book. You're trying to imagine what's connecting the sfirot together, a spiritual spinal cord, which is the light that shines through the sfirot. So here, the 12 souls, they go down from one shine to another shine. So far, let's read it from the book. Vehem yardu im ha'ara zo. These 12 souls, they're going down with a shine from one level to another. She'ena meira kol kach, and it doesn't shine so much that this is the Shechina. All these 12 souls, they went to the exile. Yardu legalut Mitzrayim. They went to the exile of Egypt. Yachad im harbe machanot malachim. So we have 12 souls that went down to Egypt. We just read 2 weeks ago how all the tribes went down to Egypt. But they went down with a lot of camps of angels. Ha'da'u dichtiv. Where do we learn that from? Ve'ele shmot bnei Israel. From these are the names of the sons of Israel that went to Mitzrayim. It's not talking about 70 people that went to Mitzrayim. It's talking about 12 people that went to Mitzrayim. That's why the parasha starts, and these are the names of the sons of Yaakov, saying the sons of Israel, that went down to Mitzrayim. And what are these souls? Hem shoresh neshmot yudbet hashvatim. This is the root of the souls of the 12 tribes. Shehem bnei Zeir Anpin, and they're sons of the Zeir Anpin. Yaakov is called Zeir Anpin, Israel. Habayim Mitzrayma, that went down to Mitzrayim, meaning Ima Shechina nikret Yaakov. They went down with the Shechina, with the feminine aspect of the divine, into Mitzrayim. That Shechina is called Yaakov. And this is where the whole parasha starts by telling us, wait a minute, this is not only a bunch of people that went down to Mitzrayim to become slaves. Ooh, there's a much more deeper meaning to the explanation why these souls went down to Mitzrayim. So Bezrat Hashem, tomorrow we'll start explaining more how it's connected to the parasha. But we had to do this little preparation to explain, and I'll just recap very quickly that we have the souls that are all positioned in the tree of life, and the tree of life is holding in it infinite amount of details. And the infinite amount of details that are rooted in the tree of life, they will manifest from one sphera to another sphera till it reaches to one sphera, the sphera that is called foundation, Yesod. Everything is sitting in there. Now we're talking about it, you kind of imagining a tree. Don't imagine it as a tree. I would more imagine it as a database. That in this database, there's an infinite amount of details. Now the database is holding all these details. Now the database needs to shoot the details out from the database. So the sphere of Yesod is again, don't imagine a tree. Just imagine some hard drive that has in it infinite amount of code. What is this code? This is wisdom coming from the world above. Now, once it's transferred into the next sphere of Malchut, Malchut is the processor that will transform it from spiritual to physical. Now it will manifest into this world, into infinite amount of details in this world. So we see billions of birds, billions of animals, billions of tree leaves, billions of pebbles of flowers, and everything is in unbelievable quantities, but it's creating this beautiful world. Where these all details originate from, they're all coming from the tree of life. And again, don't necessarily imagine a big tree with a trunk and a lot of leaves on it. Just imagine some type of a place or a structure that holds infinite amount of details. And these details are, of course, the wisdom of Hashem. And all this is positioned in the world above. Now it's coming down to the world below. And it's referring to that in this tree of life that we're referring to, there are 12 souls that came down. These are, of course, the roots of the 12 Shvatim, the 12 tribes, and they go down into Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim, we imagine Mitzrayim as being the country 700 kilometers from here. But we're going to see what it's really referring to. Going down to the world below, Mitzrayim is referring to a very low place where the souls go down to this place, and they take with them, what did it say here when it concluded? It takes with them the Shechina, the feminine aspect of the divine, that this is called Yaakov, and more than that, it's taking with them harbe machanot malachim, many camps of angels. So they go down into Mitzrayim with many camps of angels. Later on, Bezrat Hashem, tomorrow we'll continue and see where it's taking us with this, and to explain to us what is the idea that they all went down to Mitzrayim. I don't know if you noticed, but everything that we do in the Torah And every prayer, every bracha, we're constantly mentioning this whole idea of Yetziat Mitzrayim. We're like living some trauma that happened 3,500 years ago. I don't know if you notice, every time we do Kiddush, all our prayers, everything, Zecher Yetziat Mitzrayim, Zecher Yetziat Mitzrayim, to remember that we went out of Mitzrayim. Why is the whole Torah about going down to Mitzrayim? That we have now a whole book about the story about Mitzrayim, then we go out of Mitzrayim. So obviously there's something way more mystical and deep about this whole Yetziat Mitzrayim, why we went down there, why we're going out of that, why we're constantly reminding ourselves about this Yetziat Mitzrayim. So now we have a little bit of a background where these 12 souls came down from, why they came down, why there's so many details involved in that, because technically one can say the world should not have so many details. Why is the world so many details? Give me a little bit of details. And that's it. Why are you making it so sophisticated and hard? But we have to understand all that. So now we got a little bit of a background to understand that it all started with 12 souls going down to Mitzrayim. This is the root of the 12 tribes. And they went down to Mitzrayim with Yaakov, with the Shekhinah, with many, many angels. Now here we're going to stop, and tomorrow B'ezrat Hashem we'll continue and see what we need to take from that and how we can apply something positive in our life, that finally we can go out of our own Mitzrayim. B'ezrat Hashem. רבי חנינא בן הקשיא אומר, רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא לזכות את ישראל, לפיכך הרבה להם תורה ומצוות שנאמר, אדוני חפץ למען צדקו יגדיל תורה ויאדיר.